demonstrators protested Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination at the Capitol building. We talked to a Yale law student about the accusations and the protests.
Social media is all about the likes, but sometimes users try to capture those pictures and videos at a dangerous cost.
And LeBron is officially a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. King James talked today about his move to the City of Angels.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh is speaking out about the latest allegations against him. Good evening, I'm Trevor Sahaki.
And I'm Nikki Walker. A second woman is accusing Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. This allegation goes back to their time as classmates at Yale University. Protesters took to Capitol Hill today to protest Kavanaugh's nomination. Demonstrators came from across the country to voice their support of accuser Deborah Ramirez and Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, Kavanaugh's first accuser. Ford has agreed to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee this Thursday. Students from Yale Law School made the trip from New Haven to Washington to make their voices heard.
Also moving forward, it's just for our community, especially as Yale Law students, students that share the same school and space as Judge Kavanaugh and many other powerful people in the world, for us to seriously think about our role and our values and what we stand up for just as a community.
In an exclusive interview today with Fox News, Kavanaugh stood strong and said, quote, "What I know is the truth, and the truth is I've never sexually assaulted anyone." A new hashtag began trending on Twitter after President Trump questioned Christine Blasey Ford did not immediately report Brett Kavanaugh. Sexual assault survivors shared their stories with the hashtag #WhyIDidn'tReport. Alyssa Milano says she was assaulted twice, once when she was a teenager. She never filed a police report, and it took her 30 years to tell her parents. The most retweeted post came from a male victim. Thomas Roberts wrote, "Because I thought suicide was easier than telling one person." I'm joined by USC professor Matthew Levesque. He's been tracking the Why I Didn't Report conversation. Thank you for joining us, Professor. Now, can you tell us a little about what's interesting about this movement in particular?
Well, what's interesting about this is, first of all, the volume is quite high. We're seeing over 814,000 posts with that hashtag on the last few days. I compared that to the first few days of the Me Too movement, and this is higher than the beginning of Me Too. But what's also interesting about this is when we use the artificial intelligence and we look in the emotional context of these tweets, we're seeing an unbelievable amount. 76% of them present one of the 5 core emotions on it, which is much, much higher than typically what I'm seeing is somewhere between 25 and 40% of them. And most of the emotions are sadness, disgust, fear, and anger. Joy has some level of emotions, but that's joy in people supporting others who are talking about their victimization, talking about what they went through and sharing it on social media. Very interesting. And why do you think that this has so much emotion compared to the Me Too movement? Well, Me Too also had a lot of emotion. They're very similar in emotion. They're just, this one's slightly higher in volume. And I would say that that's not, that this is separate from Me Too. I would look at this as a continuation of the Me Too movement. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And it's very interesting to see the different emotions that come with these movements. Thank you very much. Thank you.
An increasing number of young people are attempting life-threatening stunts. Why? To get more likes on social media. An LA County search and rescue team pulled 2 cliff jumpers out of a rock pool at Hermit Falls. A witness said that the jumpers did it to get attention on social media. It was an expensive stunt.
I was on top of the rock, and there was their friends. They were at the bottom with their cell phones and stuff, you know, recording. Took like maybe 45-50 minutes because the helicopter came, and there is an area where there is mountains in both sides. It's really hard to control a helicopter right there in those areas.
An LA County deputy sheriff said it can cost a lot more than you might think to rescue these inexperienced thrill seekers.
If you really were to add up not just the helicopter, that's just one piece of it. If you were to say 1 hour rescue with ground resources, you're talking well over 25, 30, 50 grand, and they're not getting a bill from us. But if that was a private system, like they do in Europe and some of these other places, they'd be getting a big fat bill. I cause people to think twice about the exposure that they're putting themselves under, and then what we have to go through to actually go and rescue people.
USC has its own dangerous Instagrammable spot too. DPS has guards on top of the Sealy G Mud building because students go to the roof to take pictures. DPS Captain Ed Palmer said the roof's alarm system used to go off 5 to 6 times a day and was depleting resources. The number of search and rescue missions in LA County has grown by 38% since 2013. The Sheriff's Department says the increase is because of these extreme activities staged for social media. We have a very divisive speaker coming to USC next week. Our political anchor Albert Chien has more.
Thanks, guys. The Young Americans for Freedom invited controversial political commentator Ben Shapiro to speak at USC. Many student organizations are opposed to this event. The hashtag Sound the Alarm is being used to promote protests surrounding the visit. USC's Black Student Assembly tweeted, quote, "The safety and lives of minority communities on the USC campus is in harm's way," end quote. In another tweet, they wrote that Shapiro is known to be a purveyor of hate speech. Students for Justice in Palestine have also been vocal about their opposition.
We don't support him speaking there. We think that by him speaking here, we're legitimizing a platform of hate speech and conflating that with free speech. And as Students for Justice in Palestine, we also think that's academically legitimizing a position of ethnic cleansing against Palestinian Arabs.
The sponsoring organization says security will be increased for Shapiro's visit and tweeted, "Don't worry, at Ben Shapiro, we won't be stopped."
As far as the response, I think it's just there's really a lot of intolerance on campus for conservative ideas, and we try to separate liberal and leftist. Liberal, someone who disagrees with us, we can have a conversation with. Leftist are people that just want to stand there and call us Nazis and shut down our event. And I think a lot of it might be group mentality. It's really, I can't tell you what's going on in their head.
Shapiro is scheduled to speak at 7 p.m. next Thursday, October 4th, at Boulevard Auditorium. A protest is scheduled for this Thursday in front of Tommy Trojan. Back to you, Trevor and Nikki.
A group of students says a Lyft driver left them on the side of the 10 freeway this weekend. One of the students tuned to Facebook to raise concerns about rider safety. This was where Sydney Nguyen said her Lyft driver left her and her friends Thursday night. On Facebook, she wrote that after 5 minutes, the driver aggressively told her and her friends to be quiet. When she responded to be dropped off at the nearest exit, she said he pulled over on the freeway and told them to get out of the car. Other Lyft drivers said this should not have happened.
But usually the app will ask you, are you sure this is where they wanted to go? And you're like, yes. So I think the driver obviously might be at fault for messing up on his end.
As part of Lyft's terms of service, it says, quote, "We have no control over the quality or safety of the transportation that occurs as a result of the services." But a spokesperson for Lyft says they have reactivated Nguyen's account and permanently deactivated the drivers.
As Metro continues to expand across Los Angeles, some people have concerns new train lines may bring higher rents. We asked residents near USC how the Expo line has affected the neighborhood.
We've also seen in the neighborhood where many of the lots are zoned for what's called multiple family units, which is the same as the lot we live on, where there's two dwellings on a small piece of property. Many of the owners have sold out and they're putting in small apartment buildings.
Researchers are studying the relationship between gentrification and transit. One USC student working on this topic tells us the results are not that simple. He says there are different reasons a community may change.
There is some evidence that the income distribution near rail stations has changed, and that the extremely poor, as defined as those earning between 0 and 30% of AMI, has decreased. And we don't think that's actually a result of station openings.
The research is preliminary, and the study about gentrification and transit lines will continue. The Los Angeles Lakers will be a team to watch in the 2018 to 2019 season, and all eyes were on superstar free agent signee LeBron James during Lakers Media Day today. Let's toss it to our sports anchor, Keith DeMulder, for more.
Thanks so much, Trevor. The King has officially arrived in Los Angeles. Media from all around rolled out the red carpet for the newest Los Angeles Laker, LeBron James. James joined his new team this morning after one of the most hectic NBA free agent off seasons in recent history. The Lakers showed off James as well as fellow free agent signees Rajon Rondo and Michael Beasley. James described the start of the season in a way that many Trojans felt just weeks ago.
Tomorrow's going to be the start of, it's like the first day of school, for me. You know what to expect, but at the same time you don't know what to expect. Me being my first time here, part of this franchise and this system as well. So I look forward to seeing how I can work and how we all can work together.
The Lakers will start their season next week against the Denver Nuggets down in San Diego. Trevor?
Thank you so much, Keith. A local high school is getting future voters ready for upcoming elections.
It's fall in Los Angeles and time to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival.
And Career Day is hoping to impact the futures of elementary schoolers in Los Angeles.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter?
National Registration Day is tomorrow. Annenberg Media's Madeline Otterly visited one high school that's teaching future voters how to educate themselves and their community.
Lizette Cisneros is a senior in high school, but she has a bigger voice than most would give her credit for.
Just because we're minors doesn't mean we can't do anything.
She's a member of Annie Mo Pat Brown Charter High School's New Democracy Lab, a program designed to get students active in local government through projects like voter registration and lobbying.
And the idea is to sort of turn the classroom inside out.
Joel Snyder is the brains behind the operation.
The sort of civic practices that students build when they're in their late teens, when they're in their high school years, are the things that set the groundwork for how they will live moving forward.
The lab is funded through the Teaching Tolerance Grant of the Southern Poverty Law Center.
One of our jobs is to help that emerging generation take power and become empowered and become effective citizens, because they're the ones who are going to inherit all the achievements and all the problems.
According to Pew, young adults made up over half of eligible voters in 2014's midterm election, but they still cast 21 million fewer ballots than adults over the age of 54. One USC public policy professor thinks a program like this might help.
We need to get young people involved in and understanding the United States political system, the United States governmental system, the United States electoral system as soon as possible.
Snyder hopes the project has an impact beyond the students.
They are learners, but they're teachers.
Teaching their primarily immigrant families.
I want to inform a lot of children and parents, you do have a voice, and go say it, go do something.
If the project's successful, SPLC wants to introduce it to more schools. For Annenberg Media, I'm Madeline Otterly.
Southern California has been breathing record-breaking smog. This summer we went nearly 3 months without a day of clean air. According to the California Air Resources Board, this region violated the federal smog standards for 87 consecutive days. That's the longest stretch of bad air in 20 years. Experts say it's especially dangerous for children.
It can affect primarily children and older adults, those that already have a medical condition. We've also shown that children in general, including normally healthy children, can have reductions in their lung function over time if they're breathing elevated levels of air pollution.
Some scientists say higher temperatures may be part of the problem. Environmentalists say there should be tougher regulations to control the sources of pollution. Well, I wonder how all this pollution and smog is affecting the weather, though.
Yes, I totally agree, Trevor. Let's toss to our weather anchor, Draco Guant, for more. Draco?
Hey guys, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell smoggy from cloudy because the onshore flow has increased, so you will notice a few more clouds in the morning sky. So because the fall is here and the temperature is getting kind of lower, you might want to get a cool blazer like mine. So let's look at the tomorrow. On Big Bear is 74 and Riverside is 86, and go up to the Simi Valley is 84, and in the Malibu along the coast is 72. Let's go back to our downtown. USC is 22 degree and Anaheim 82, and Anaheim 81, and Long Beach is at 76 degree. And its 5-day forecast is gonna be getting warmer a little bit into Thursday. It's gonna be cooling down a little bit until the end of the week. So I'm getting excited because tonight is going to be a full moon and people are celebrating the Mid-Autumn Festival. It dates back to China's Shang Dynasty. It's more than 3,000 years ago. Now it's getting popular in LA.
Peter just had a great night with his family, celebrating the Mid-Autumn Festival.
I like that you had sent us here, Mom. It was the best night outing I ever been to.
Like Peter, over 300 people gathered in Pasadena to celebrate the traditional Asian festival with live music and food.
This event was designed to bring in many of our Asian community members, but it wasn't just, it was for everybody to come and enjoy a beautiful Sunday evening.
Mid-Autumn Festival is one of the most popular festivals in China. One festival goer believes the celebration can help cross-cultural communication and ease tensions between the two countries.
Especially, we all know that it's a very strange stage of relationship between China and the US, right? And the culture-wise, I think the key thing is communication, education, and interaction.
A line dance, kung fu performance, lanterns, and mooncakes gave Americans a taste of Chinese culture.
I think they will bring more American and especially local residents, help them appreciate more Chinese culture, and they love the food, they're more acceptable, and then they enjoy it. I think everybody have a good time together.
In China, the round shape of the full moon symbolizes the family reunion and harmony. But here in Los Angeles tonight, it also means bridging the culture and building the community. Welcome to our festival, and we're gonna hold a gala in USC at Bovard on Saturday. Welcome to come by.
I'm really excited for it. It really sounds great.
Yes, thank you so much, Draco. A USC Rossier graduate founded a nonprofit charter school for elementary students experiencing homelessness and poverty. Today, the school is holding a career fair to introduce students to different kinds of jobs. Haiti Mitchell opened Crete Academy in 2017 after completing her doctorate in educational leadership. She has about 130 students from pre-K to 6th grade. The goal of Career Day is to introduce them to successful professionals who will inspire them.
It's mostly about exposure and bringing experiences to our kids. Oftentimes they don't have the opportunity, like affluent and middle income kids, to go to events like this in the community, or even really to learn about a variety of jobs.
Students are excited to talk with people from many different professions, including government, culinary, sports, finance, and even plumbing.
I think this is pretty dope because we got jumpers, we got the Los Angeles Football Club over here, and then we get to learn about new things about plumbing, you know, like how policemen work.
Mitchell says USC provides her students with important services, including transportation, medical, dental, vision, and mental health. Well, there's a lot coming up with USC sports.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that, Keith?
Yeah, finally the Trojans coming out with a win this weekend over the Cougars. They survived a last-minute test, to say the least, last Friday, thanks to a big play from an even bigger man. Meanwhile, pro golfer Tiger Woods had a weekend to remember down south. Innerberg's own golf expert Sam Scalbania is in studio to break it all down.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man. Women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60. 2 over 50. 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now. So 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Usually the handsome quarterbacks or stud wide receivers are the heroes of USC football, but today a guy who is usually forgotten was recognized for a play that will always be remembered. On a crucial 38-yard attempt, defensive lineman Jay Dufresne broke through with the line and blocked Cougar Blake Mazza's game-tying kick. The block earned him Pac-12 Special Team Player of the Week honors. USC head coach Clay Helton talked about the game and how Dufresne's block is exactly how they drew it up.
It's a block that we've had in our package for a long time, and you know, we put it in this week's specialty. The kids knew exactly what to do. Our last team meeting, we showed it. We showed the gap that would be open. Great call by Cam off the left hash. He ends up making that call, and it was the absolute perfect call at the right time.
The Trojans will travel to Tucson this Saturday to take on the Arizona Wildcats, a team that USC recorded 49 points and over 650 yards of total offense on last season. Wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown talked with Annenberg Media after the game about how JT Daniels and this offense could easily do it again.
After today, you can definitely see that he connects with all of us. He knows where we're going to be. He knows our strengths in terms of, jump ball, where he places the ball. So he's great with all that. To get this win today was huge for us as a team. Coming up 2 losses, I think it really boosts our confidence, like Coach said. And I mean, we got to keep pushing.
The Wildcats' record matches that of the Trojans at 2-2, so this meeting makes for a big Pac-12 South matchup. Now we transition from the Wildcats of the gridiron to a Wildcat on the golf course who is making headlines. Sam?
Thanks, Keith. Those who were watching the Tour Championship yesterday witnessed history. Tiger Woods is once again a champion. Woods secured his 80th victory on tour on Sunday and his first in over 5 years. Tiger got his round started with a long birdie, sinking a 10-footer to get to 13 under par. As his competitors struggled, Woods cruised. After another birdie on the 13th, Tiger arrived at the last hole with a 2-shot lead. With the tournament in the bag, Tiger was treated to an unbelievable sight. Thousands of fans chased the 42-year-old as he strode down the 18th fairway toward his first win in 5 years. Woods, who battled back issues for years, was visibly emotional after the victory. Woods' return to the winner's circle may be the greatest comeback in sports history. With 80 career wins, Woods is now only 2 behind Sam Snead for the most wins all time. Woods' year is not over yet, however, as the fight for the coveted Ryder Cup begins this Thursday. Woods and the rest of Team USA will take on Team Europe at Le National Golf in Paris, as the U.S. will attempt to retain the cup for the first time since 1993. Keith, huge end to the golf year this weekend. Back to you.
Yeah, my dad actually will be at the Ryder Cup this weekend. Very excited for that. Also very excited for USC women's soccer, who played their Pac-12 opener this past Saturday against the Washington Huskies and did not disappoint the home crowd after great play from the Southern Cal defense. The women of Troy pummeled the Huskies with a trio of goals, including 2 from Penelope Hawking and Daria Petridis. Redshirt sophomore goalie Kaylee Collins blanked opposing scores for the 7th time this season. Head coach Kadani McAlpine is positive about his team going into Pac-12 play.
to only allow or force our keeper to make one save, only allow 6 shots total, to limit them in the corners. That's what we want. That's what we would like to accomplish with our defending. And if we defend well, we'll get plenty of chances offensively. And today we did that, and we were able to close out with some tremendous goals there in the second half. So all in all, I thought it was a brilliant way to open up Pac-12 play.
The women of Troy will continue conference play later this week against Stanford and Cal up north. In yesterday's battle, meanwhile, with the Buffs, the number 14 ranked women of Troy squeaked out a 3-2 victory in women's volleyball. USC's win over Colorado keeps the team unbeaten, but their 5-game winning streak is in jeopardy. This Friday, the squad travels up north to take on number 2 ranked Stanford. Guys?
Well, that is very exciting. I know I've been following the women's soccer team actually a little bit, doing an incredible job lately.
Yeah, they've been having a great season.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you, Keith. A USC biology graduate is ready to make her big comedy debut this weekend.
We'll have her story when we come back.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Bye-bye. Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
A USC alumnus, Ego Nwodim, is set to join the cast of Saturday Night Live as the new season approaches this Saturday. Nwodim graduated from USC in 2010 with a degree in biology. She has since made a name for herself at the Los Angeles Upright Citizens Brigade and has gone on to make appearances on such shows as Two Broke Girls and Law & Order True Crime. She makes her SNL debut this Saturday. Nwodim will be the 3rd USC alum on SNL, alongside fellow Trojans Kyle Mooney and Beck Bennett. Nwodim will make her SNL debut with Adam Driver as the host and Kanye West as the musical guest. That is going to be an exciting show.
It really is. It's so great to see USC alumni.
Exactly.
Great things.
Exactly. And Beck and Kyle have succeeded so much on the show too.
They really have. That's awesome.
Yes, and Draco brought us mooncakes.
Autumn festival.
This is so amazing.
I like the mooncake.
This is fantastic.
Now
have a taste.
have
a
real
taste.
mooncakes. Okay.
It's the shape of the moon.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
thank you so much. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Draco.
I'll
We'll try that after the show.
TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Trevor Sahaki.
And I'm Nikki Walker. We'll catch you guys next week when we go live on Monday.